You shout out the top, straight off that Montana soil. You already know the vibes. All information down in the description. Get with it or get left.
Yo, we right
Let's
here.
go.
Looking right, coming right at us. Right
I'm
over
feeling
here.
it, second time sensing it. Sit with it, more elements spin with it.
Stay focused.
It's Naga right here. What y'all be doing, man? Y'all ain't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet? You know I be dropping that underground music block, right? All local artists from anywhere, amateur artists, no matter. You spit bars, you got some conscious rap, you got some knowledge to put out there, you sing, whatever you do. You ain't hit me up yet? Better hit me up and drop them tracks on me, yo. No, and I got the graphic designs for you, and we do the advertising and promotion if needed. You already know the vibes, man. You need to holler at me right here. You already know what it is, man. This Naga, man, come through. You know what I'm saying? And make some shit happen, yo. Like, what you doing? We trying to start this new wave of music right now, man. Only way you gonna know is unless you see. I got you. Holla at me, man. Trust and believe, yo. Best in the business. Naga.
Rebellion, persistence, underground sound, laced up, sweatshop sneakers, activate the ley line, send it to the ethers, 528, busting out the speakers.
You already know the vibes. What's goody? What's goody? What's goody? This is Naga on Naga's Thoughts. We got new music by Taj Bro tomorrow. Check out the advertisement. It's gonna be fire. If you want my TikTok, you already know how I do. This is Naga. We're gonna get into some Naga Thoughts. Drop a little bit of juice tonight. It's been a minute since I've been on. Man, I be trying to do a lot of stuff, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like my head be in different places. I'll be trying to spread myself thin. These energies out here, they dangerous, yo. They dangerous. So always keeping in mind about the basic understanding of all things. Cause I'm always run back to the I always run back to the divine first and foremost. I'll be like, yo, pause, what's good? Turn around real quick, like, stay on the basics. Stay on the basics. You know what I mean? And you're gonna be feeling all these different energies pull. They're gonna be pulling like almost like little vortexes everywhere, just sucking everything in. You're gonna feel it, yo. But as like in the days of before, you're gonna always lay down a raw level of truth. Everybody ain't gonna be able to drink that. That's just a fact. All praise due to the Most High. That's what my standpoint state. All praise due to the Most High. You know, you can find yourself out of that. You can find yourself out of that energy with that. All praise due to the Most High. It's almost like being thankful for whatever it is at the moment. You know, they say thankful to be thankful. And I even had a concept. I did a video the other day when I had I had edited and everything, and I was gonna put it out, but I was like, nah, I ain't putting that out because people still not gonna comprehend that right there. That's different. You know what I'm saying? That's how I looked at it. I was like, that's different. You still ain't gonna comprehend it. But it was like you always got people above you in this physical understanding, right? It's always like people that believe in the physical nature that they are above. I'll say it that way. And then when you create or is a creator of value in some form, whether it's your character, how you do something, how you move, what that looks like. You always get the envy, you know what I'm saying, from a person that's like, why you get to do that? Because I thought about it. But then that energy still is available to block, right? So it's like, what do you do with that? Right? What do you do with that? Why do anything? Why do anything? Why is it a need to do other than just to be? You know what I mean? So you find yourself having these dynamic questions, and the anxiety and the question or the worrisome is not from the value of if someone or if you or what is or are you supposed to be doing. It's not even about that. You know, it it dawned on me one day that all these motions are to make sure that you instill them into yourself. So then your motion emits these characters. This is energy we talking about, right? This is energy. So the motion will emit this as a character, right? What characters are you trying to emit? Because you can be at a point to where you're trying to make one, but what are you trying to emit? What is your intention to the value? So it's always the structure of how, you know what I'm saying, or what that even looks like. And ultimately, the dynamics of how systematic ways of thinking are put together, it kind of funnels you into the circumference of only short and short-lived decisions that are based on values that don't serve the particular purpose. I was going to say based on violence, but sometimes that's what it comes to. See, we haven't mastered the understanding of being able to place ourselves in the retrospect of what the future may be. You are a cell, literally a DNA cell that's combined in one body. That's a part of every retrospect that's in existence. Like we don't think in the right directions of what the existence are. We think in consolidated motions, like you are not a cell that's split in half to give life to other cells. That's what cells do. They split to give life or to spread, right? This is what creates the value. So when we give birth, isn't that the same thing? Splitting a cell and giving it life. So then it's imperative for us to understand what we giving and leaving behind for that as a value. It's ultimately easy to put you in the mentality of having retrospects of confusion, especially when trying to hold on to things that seem more important to the value when the value is important at the moment. We're only sure about a couple of things: life and death. They don't even allow you to comprehend the aspect of being in transcendence. For the most part, the whole subsequent value is a manipulation to have you enslaved. See, I wanted to say something just now. It's like sitting on the tip of my tongue. It's like the whole option is to have you enslaved by the Kesars. The people don't see that ultimately, right? You know what I'm saying? Because the names change up and all that, and then you end up being under the foot of the guise of that same plan, what is redirected and renamed in so many different ways. It's like the illest chess game ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, but people don't see this is what they are. This is who they're becoming. You've already been trained to be these things. You know what I'm saying? The plans have worked to have you in certain mentalities. And now today's argument is that we are something that we are not as a culture, unbeknownst to the plan that has us in particular mentalities or retrospects to the value, ultimately still playing the role of the division. There's never going to be an aspect to where how we was taught or how we was pressured into being and understanding is going to satisfy the natural notion of our natural conductivity and togetherness as cultures. There was a way it was supposed to be, and going back to get that way where it was left off and bringing that back into it to have that transmute its value into the new understanding is how that's going or that's supposed to be, right? And ultimately, we are afraid, like we would rather fight amongst each other instead of fighting to the value. We would rather make excuses about why you have a latent point to a value instead of having the solution of acting, right? So, what are you doing? Are you acting on things or not? You have to act on these things. We can have a conversation all day. I don't like talking, but I will come and talk because if I have something to say, it's going to be important. Deeper than that to the value, deeper than that to the value, there's more action that needs to be done. There's more of looking like this is what this looks like in motion. It's more of this is what this seems like when standing. It's more this is what this look like when we connect to make these things happen for others. That's that value. Everything can always be dressed up in some retrospect to have it seem as if it's harnessed to the particular understanding to give some form of anything, but all praises will always be due to the Most High. And it seems like the strive is still in that motion, like, hey, I need you to see me like this. I only see light. I only see light. I don't see circumstances. I see light. And that light has capabilities of doing anything that it can within the reach of light. If you turn the light switch on in a room, that light is going to touch everything in the circumference of energy. So if you are that in a being, how or what have you touched in your circumference of being? How much of that has you been able to circumvent? When you move your energy creates things it's called electromagnetism. How much are you moving that's going to bring or pull this energy towards you, right? Doesn't matter where you are, you can literally run in a circle with a thought, and that thought will manifest after, um, depending on the energy of where you are, the gestation of nine, it'll come into fruition. It may take some time, but depending on where you are, but or shit, it may not take that. And it could take 9 minutes, depending on if you on a ley line or not. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the real understanding of the world. Like so they'll put you and place you and have you in different areas, states, have you telling you that looks like this and this name is this and to move this around. Because why would I want you to know that if you stand right here, your thoughts can literally manifest into real time? Now I'm gonna block that off. I don't want you to come over here because you might do something. You might wake up to who you are. We can't liberate nothing. We have to put something under us. We have to have what? No, we have to have a freeing mentality that has an unconditional base, a non-conventional base of connection. Non-conventional. You know what that means? It's not normal. It's not normal. And if you want to be, you know what I'm saying, in the same retrospect of the values that this world has put together, that people have kind of submitted to as some value. Like you submit to what these things are. Even within conversation, you know how people get in certain conversations, they start talking all uppity. That's what they called it back in the day, uppity talk. Like, yo, why you even change yourself just to be in that conversation? Even people that tell you you can't be like that, you gotta straighten up. What does that even mean? That means you're embarrassed to how you really are around other people because you're trying to put on the front. I ain't never liked energy like that. I never tried to be more than I always am. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I'll get in certain energies just to let it be known, like I am. That's just the bottom line. I am. So that's in motion. Emotion, in motion, same thing. N and M. Put another hook on it. You can change it. Manipulation is the power that be, even down to spelling. We've mastered everything given, and then unmastered it because we still don't understand that that's not even a value. These laws people still are abide by laws that's forced on you by oppression. And you'll equate that to divine real quick. They'll be like, no, God ain't said nothing. The Most High ain't say nothing that man said. Man told you that, and you ran with it. Ran with it and believed because of pain. You know, when somebody force you to believe something with a sword, it's easy to forget where you came from. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to forget who you are and what you're capable of when somebody forces you to learn something with a sword. I wonder how you feel if you see the head rolling down the street, right? Like, oh shit, it's a head. Facts. It's be the realities of life. Everybody wanted mystifying, but you want it comfortable. What is that even? What is that for you even? Is comfortable what the system gave you? Is that the good days you want? You want when you were still oppressed, you didn't know what was going on, but you was happy for getting a little bit that you had. You want that happiness of being ignorant. See, that's a different question. That's a different question. Most people want the happiness of being ignorant at a certain time in life. So that means you basically saying, put me back where I didn't know certain things was happening. And I got a little something. And we was all able to be happy when it meant something. When I was able to spend change at the gas station, you're still begging for oppression though. Because it wasn't like it wasn't happening. It was that they had just found out something else they can make money on, and the price of it was cheap at the time. So you got good at it. And once they found out that you would buy it, they put the price up. What are you talking about? The good what good days? It's not a such thing as a good day. It's experiments and levels to how many times you tried it. And when they changed it, if you still went for it. So if the good days is you being experiment on it to the fullest extent, and you not knowing that you being experimented on, if that's the good days, then that means you're asking for ignorance. That's what I'm saying. People talk and don't know what they even be saying. You praying and don't know what you're praying for. What good days do you want back? See, it be the energy. It doesn't have to be favorable. It's not supposed to be liked, but you have to take it. If you don't take it, don't take it. That shows the heaviness that you carry. That shows the heaviness in your heart, being unable to be swift and changeable. Because you're heavy. You can't go from one thing to the next because you have something to say about it. You have a verse. You have to complain. See, everything states of value. You'll see. You know how things move freely, like wind, water. It moves free. It moves freely, like a fire. It moves freely. If rocks falling down, they move freely until something make it to where it can't move freely. Like right, that's when the rock gets stopped by a tree. But I bet you that tree be bust up. Wind moves freely between the trees, through the beaches, around people. Water moves freely over the surface, just flows, finds the cracks and crevices to flow. Fire, when it's burning upward, as the heat is traveling high, it makes ripple effects to show that anything in its way will turn to a cinder. It's just how things move. It's the reality of life. And you could be stagnant, you could be stuck, you could sit, and that's the constant thoughts of trying to figure out or thinking that you're gonna out figure out. I'm gonna out figure out this. I'm gonna do this. You watching people in constant suffering. I don't expect nobody to be there. I don't expect you to, especially when you got so much to say. I don't expect it. Just that notion and having a thought within its own retrospect destroys the whole concept of anything higher learning. While you're still trying to be in higher learning aspects, it's a non-comprehension. It's a non-comprehension. You're gonna sit there and be like, nah, this is how I feel. So what? This is the concept. Can you digest this concept without the feeling? Lack of the feeling is the concept.
See, you can play patty cakes with the reality of the contrast, but the fact of the matter is it's an actuality, it's a happening. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna ride the wave. You're gonna go up and down, up and down, up and down. You're gonna prepare yourself when you go up and get that high. You're gonna fly down just so you can get back to that high. And you're gonna keep going down faster and getting past that downward slope just to stay on that high. You're gonna be going up so much, it's gonna look like you're on a high vibration all the time because you just breeze right past the low shit. All praise due to the most high. It's never about how you feel. It's about how well you master how you feel. So then my effect is not to make you feel good. My effect is to make you uneasy in certain ways. So therefore you master the conjunction of that uneasiness. So you sit down and you think about it like, nah, that was right, but I ain't like it. And I ain't like it because I gotta look at it. Because it's coming from certain people that don't even matter. Never look a gift horse in the mouth. It's a gift horse. Here you go. Sometimes it comes in the form of a lesson. All praise due to the most high. Man, I get them all the time. You know how many times that I'm bust my knuckles up? Word up. I just created like this shifter, right? To shift concrete to get the smaller particles and all that. So I can make mortar, right? So the way I had it setting up, like if I had kept trying to dump the stuff in there, how I was dumping it, I was going to hit my hand and scrape my knuckles. And I did that one time, like because the way it was because I got to grab it, and then when you grab it, you pull back, it rubs against the concrete that's already on the object, and it's like basically rubbing your fist against the concrete. You know what I'm saying? Like the worst rug burn ever. Like you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh wait, the first time shit took skin off too. I was like, all right, you got me. But I see that though. I learned from that because I'm not going to do that. Matter of fact, let me move this out of the way so I can't even put my hand there like that again. So discipline. The disciplines you get are not to master the value of you particularly dealing with the particular discipline. It's to emit the value of what you're disciplining. If I discipline, and check this out, this is for all the fellas. Everybody be like celibacy, celibacy, celibacy. All right, listen. If you really thought you needed celibacy, it's because somewhere in your path you was a cheater. They be like, what are you talking about? Because once you master celibacy, right? Once you master celibacy, now you're loyal because you're not going to need to fulfill that. So your loyalty skills just went through the roof because you can literally sit by yourself and not have nothing by choice, right? So that gives you the ultimacy on loyalty. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't need to be around nobody else. I've already mastered being by myself. Everybody can't do that. You know what I'm saying? That's not a thing. But that discipline helps you get to that point. So sometimes you're doing something else to master other things in your life. And it's so many attributes that comes with different forms of discipline that you can inhabit depending on the circumstance. Take advantage of these things and don't look at them as, oh well, if I do this, I'm doing this, I'm doing it. But it's because it's not really that. If it wasn't supposed to happen, you wouldn't have it. So having it in moderation is the mastery of oneself. Being able to know when, that's why I like that song. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, don't know when to run. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like that. You got to know the value of when certain things are taking place. You got to know when you're shifting your gear. You know what I'm saying? You got to know when you're stepping into different energies and how to do that because particularly it's not even all about us individually. It's about us as a whole. You know what I'm saying? And how these structures are going to play out. And the old dynamicisms was built off of the retrospects that was forced upon people. So they had to be certain ways. You know what I mean? They had to do certain things. Like your elders had to do certain stuff. So they responded in ways that they had to based off these values. We can't think from that same perception because it's going to build a different energy, which requested different things from those people who was getting learned from that energy. So how can I try to be what that time was to get the outcome? You know what I'm saying? Like is one thing don't got to do with the next because that's a different time. They needed those type of people for that time. So yeah, they went through certain disciplines. We need certain things for this time, which is going to acclimate to the available disciplines that's going to find its way into all the mentalities of the new people of the world, even us. So, you know what I'm saying? Like I look at myself being in my age right now, like, yo, I already know a lot of things about the verses to the value. But one thing I know is also you have to be able to shed. You got to be able to let some of that stuff fall off. Some of what you thought you know, it has to go away. If you hold on to it, you're literally making your own Mandela effect because then you're going to be the only one believing that soon. Think about it. You might have brought that back from a long time ago, and then that time keeps growing, but you get older, so you still believe in something from a time that was relevant. But now they don't even think like that because they learn so much more. So it's like you're trying to force your time of thinking on another time when it doesn't have a relevancy. It doesn't have an accuracy. Like you can't move like that in this time and expect to get the best value from how you seen it from another time. It's just not gonna work like that. You're gonna be out looking crazy. I remember when I went to a convention, right? I used to do music conventions, right? And go down and you perform for the artists. It's like Ninth Wonder, all these celebrities there. You remember Ninth Wonder gave me his computer, let me check out his beats and all that, right? So anyway, um, what the dude name? I think his name was Tricky, not Tricky. It might have been Tricky. The dude that was Kaya manager, my neck, my back, or whatever. Dude jump on the mic and he was like, "You still selling CDs in the street? You'll never get on like that." He cursed me out. Not really cursed me out, but he screamed at me. He embarrassed me in front of like 500, 600 people, 1,000 people, whatever. And I didn't even know this dude. Like I didn't know why he got up there and came so hard at me. But the reality was he was trying to get a point across that the way we did things before can't be done today. And the market is stating this as a value. Like the financial market is saying it's better to do things this way because the accumulation and the value. So, I mean, I don't know the industry, so I don't know this, but this is what he's saying. And he came across real hash. And if I was to take that and put it in comparison to the knowledge and use that same retrospect, that can be considered as life screaming at you. Like, yo, we don't do stuff the way we used to no more. Get it together or get lost. And you start finding yourself inadequate to certain things because you just haven't changed your thought pattern on how things truly are. You know what I'm saying? Like as much as we went through some ways that people have, you're like stuck in certain ways and you want things the way you want it, but then automatically, if you ain't never went all the way down to the bottom and have to come up like that, then you don't understand what that is. It's a very humbling discipline when you've mastered the fact of not giving a shit. And that's not a disrespectful thing. It's like, all right, even you thought leaving me by myself was gonna hurt me. You thought turning your back on me and oh well, you ain't got that. That's where you should thrive at because that's the spot where you went to. You went there to learn. In your peace and solitude, you went to yourself. So knowing that without anything else, all else fails, shit, you gonna be good. Because you good by yourself at the end of the day, right? That's what it's supposed to be about. But our job was to rebuild the structure of the false foundation, right? To rebuild the structure, bring it back. You dig what I'm saying? We're supposed to rebuild the structure in a fortified way, not the way of the understanding of how things was before. Because let's keep in mind, they had to learn what they learned through levels of oppression. So why would I want that way of thinking back? I don't want that way of thinking back. It worked for them. It was good for the circumstance. But let's keep in mind the circumstance is different. It's different. This is before they knew, about making your cheese terrible. I mean, at least you got real cheese in that block cheese. It might have been old, but it was real on that welfare line. Now they don't even give you real cheese no more. They don't even give you real. They give you color and texture. Motherfuckers say your ass color and texture real quick, and you believe it. And then we said talk trash about the days when they gave you real food in cans and boxes. See how the reality don't even mesh. It was nasty because they let it go bad. They didn't care. They know you'll find a way to make it better. That's the reality we had to thrive through. That's the level we had to thrive through. So how are we making decisions today based on knowing that time has changed? You can't go back them years and say, well, we're gonna do this. It just ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. So at some point, you know what I'm saying, comprehending the value, you're gonna have to be able to say, look, this is how things is changing. And if we're gonna get somewhere, we have to acclimate to the change and capitalize on it in the most positive way. This is optimism. This is optimism. And you got to know divine got you no matter what. Always show up and show out. You know what I'm saying? Always show up and show out. That's the value. My uncle used to be like, yo, you can't make a shot unless you win the game. Get off the bench. You know what I'm saying? Get off the bench. Let's take an intermission and we come right back and then we're going to end it out. Probably drop a few more minutes, but let's intermission real quick and we come right back.
Montana soil. Shout out to Todd, straight off that Montana soil. You already know the vibes. All information down in the description. Get with it or get left.
Yo, we right
Let's
here.
go.
Looking right, coming right at us. Right over
Feeling
here.
it, second time sensing it. Sit with it, more elements spin with it.
Stay focused.
It's hip-hop heads, you already know the vibes, man. It's Naga right here. What y'all be doing, man? Y'all ain't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet? You know I be dropping that underground music block, right? All local artists from anywhere, amateur artists, no matter. You spit bars, you got some conscious rap, you got some knowledge to put out there, you sing, whatever you do, you ain't hit me up yet? Better hit me up and drop them tracks on me, yo. No, and I got the graphic designs for you, and we do the advertising and promotion if needed. You already know the vibes, man. You need to holler at me right here. You already know what it is, man. This Naga, man, come through. You know what I'm saying? And make some shit happen, yo. Like, what you doing? We trying to start this new wave of music right now, man. Only way you gonna know is unless you see. I got you. Holler at me, man. Trust and believe, yo. Best in the business. Naga.
Rebellion, persistence, underground sound, laced up, sweatshop sneakers, activate the ley line, send it to the ethers, 528, busting out the speakers.
Yeah, we back. You already know the vibes. So, so like I was saying, man, you know what I mean? I don't even like constantly reiterating myself. I just kind of, I'm too busy standing in the energy, more or less trying to explain it. And I always get a chance to see the pocket, right? And you can sit back and go back and look through the past energy and be like, yo, they was talking about, it was more about the feeling and they didn't use much language and they didn't do this, they didn't do that. But then we sit around and everything we do is the opposite of everything. It's like nothing that we do in this time is aligned with anything. So even speaking it, it's like, what's that saying they had in the religious aspect of the Bible? It was like faith without acts is dead, is dead belief or something like that. So that I really believe that. Like, how can you speak on things so much and don't have a particular practice that you practice when coming to stand on these things that you know? This can't be something that you're just good at regurgitating. Like, you have to have a track record of you doing these things, or literally being in circumstances where you see these things take place and people are literally going through circumstances, and you have that knowledge for that situation that helps this change that circumstance for someone, and you being a catalyst to that, because you know what, there's not the access to that knowledge somewhere. So it's like, all right, what's that as an indifference? Like, where is that as the track record? Or is it just the ego aspect of you saying, well, you know what, I want to be known as somebody that does these things, so therefore I need you to see me say something that sounds as if I can be accepted as this individual. One thing ain't got nothing to do with the next. Is either you doing the work or you not doing the work. You know what I'm saying? And I don't need gratitude from the value of having somebody see me as somebody that does the work. You know why? Because in the right positions, you're going to be called to do the work. So that's what determines if something is available for you or not when you stand in these notions. Sometimes it can be the smallest lesson that you have to give somebody or stand for somebody, like because lack thereof of what happened for you in your past. That's what our lessons was for. You didn't go through stuff in your life just to say, I'm mad about the things I went through in life. No, you went through them so you can be that for somebody else lacking that same thing. You have a dynameter in your mind that shows you people who went through the same thing that you went through. It's a familiarity. That's why you downloaded all those feelings. You know more than anybody. Each and every person on the planet, when y'all go through stuff, you got these things you went through that becomes your life story. All right, cool. But at the end of the day, how many other people are going through this? We talk about we want collectiveness. We talk about we want to build together. We talk about we want to come together. Well, all these things that we have together, we do not express them together. We use that as fuel to be more effed up as individuals. Now, you don't know what I went through, so this is why I move like this. I don't want to hear that shit because that's the same story everybody got. It's easier to back out and be on the weaker energy, and it takes so much more strength to carry that and go over and say, let me help you. Because my intentions right now is not in the way I feel, but the fact that I see you felt or you're feeling how I felt. And I want to come remove that at this moment from you to let you know you're not by yourself. We don't do that. That's not something that we do. We sit back and we pull apart like banana peels, and we justify our actions and negativity from an indifference until it happens to us. And now you need someone to come and curdle those energies. This is what our culture has become. We judge on ourselves indifference to the materialistic value. It's so crazy how materialistic value is everything manifested from anything that's dead. And this is how you state your value towards the people that you are just like that has life. When you have tons of dead meat, you are popular. When you have tons of trees that are torn down, turned into fabric as clothing, you are popular. When you have mountains that are blown up and extracted from the finest minerals and added to other metals, you are someone that is considered as prestige because you call it jewelry. When you use these same things that are tore up from the earth and extracted and molded and replaced onto other values so you can move some way through this earth, this is when you feel strong. So ultimately, you only feel well when you are surrounded around death. You only feel fulfilled when you're surrounded around death. Because everything that you inhabit in this earth is death. No matter how you cut it, I don't care if it's polished, shaped, mold, cut some type of way, formed, restringed, however, kenneled, heat, molded, clayed, it doesn't matter. It still came from something living. And then we also get added to that regimen. That's something that you know definite, right? That we will die. So then the start and the finish was the most important thing. And in between really didn't matter, but you raised hell about shit that also was going in the same process, might have came from, already went through, and you fought for those things of death. Might have even looked at your people and be like, if you touch my dead things, I will kill you myself. Wow, the intoxication to everything that we are immersed in, and we call it matter. We call it matter because we have to make it do that. Because, you know, after you're gone and the energy is out of that physical thing, it doesn't matter anymore. See, animism talked about that, how the transmutation of the light go from one thing to the next. So how is that more important after the fact of it even having life? How is that even important? I see none of y'all digging up dead bodies talking about, I'm about to rock my grandma left finger. Yo, my grandpop still got some skin on his head. I can make into something. Why y'all not doing that? Y'all like everything else? Oh, because you don't really comprehend it like that. You don't you don't comprehend it. You don't comprehend it. See, I like that new leather smell. That new leather smell is the inside of an animal's body hide. I am just talking tough. I'm just talking tough because it's the reality. So if I ever wanted to look at it and put it in front of you as these pieces are the realities that we deal with, then in fact I have to put it on the same level of the characteristic traits. It is not as big as we hold a value to, when in fact you are the value. Without the light that you are, how would these dead things be seen in quality? Without you looking at something saying, I like it, that's you putting your light on something, how would it be seen as quality? So, if that's the case, how do you see other things as quality other than the people who project light just like you to value the things that don't have it? Because if ain't nobody got no light to see these things, all this stuff here it don't matter because there's nobody to like it. That's why I don't be talking too much, because it's so simple to break it all apart. It's so simple just to smash it. And then the reality that you hold so well that you think has a standpoint, from your judges to your psychiatrists to whoever you think is important, I will smash it and destroy it and pick it back up in the crumbs that it is and be like, this is your value. This is what was more important in your conversation. See, it's nothing, but you thought it was. That's why you fought for it. And the only thing that really has the value that gave you life in the first place, the source energy, the same energy that's inside of you, you won't give it no respect. You won't listen to it. You won't acknowledge it. You use it. You damage it. You look at it around. You bypass it even with your eyes. You don't care because you're more focused on everything that's dead that has value. They give you the smallest terms to appreciate it. Go get into nature. That's not powerful enough. Say something else. I don't know what else you're going to say. Make it up. I'm going to commune with the ancestors while I sit amongst my cousins that create air. I don't know. Make it up. But what we say, it doesn't reflect the potency of it enough. This is what I mean by we've accepted terms and values that are not strong enough. You've been taking small bites of food, and now you are even oblivious to what you think that you are. And you will fight for this obliviousness. I will never take the same terms. That's why I started it off like this. I will never take the same terms that was used to oppress me and use it as the finite reason of its own knowledge. Why would I do that? I'm going to speak in parables. We're going to flip flapjacks with this right here, because I'm not giving this language that much respect. I already know why it was given to me, to make sure I speak the pathway. So when it happens to me, I can speak it in this language. So now it's clear for everybody who don't even got this energy. You can't out chess the chess master, but I know at the end of the day, I'm watching everybody don't understand these processes because you're not even comprehending the fact that you are being controlled to speak this way. Everything in a nutshell has its own understanding, just like every part of your body has its own food that it needs to have, so it can work right, like a well-oiled car. Everything in a nutshell follows something. This will go so deep. Somebody be like, "Yo, what are you talking about?" This will go so left, and every single part that has an understanding that's connected to everything I'm saying, it's going to be so far from you comprehending this as a value, but this is your everyday living. This is how fast the synapses has to come on. So that means you got to get off of that 3-second learning, or that 3-second attention mind frame, and get back to seeing if you can do shit for 10 minutes straight. So then you can comprehend what's going on, because they pull it in your face fast. It goes from this to that. It's the same program in different processes. It just gets easier to do it as it goes along. It's so easy you don't even notice it because you think you're a part of the struggle. I take everything from up under you, right up under you, and you'll let me. Everything dead. So that means I'm gutting you from the bottom while you alive. watching this little clip. It was dope. Dude was like, "Yo, every day I dig a hole for my dog and bury it alive because my dog got cancer and he sleep better when he laying in the cold dirt." I'm like, "Yo, that's deep." And they show the dog walk up as he digging the hole. The dog lay down in the dirt and get covered up with dirt, and he lay outside like that because it feel good on his body. I'm like, wow, look at the acceptance. That's crazy. And they got a bond like that. Like they literally got a bond like that. Like, yo, you digging that hole for me tonight? Sure, I'm in there, son. You know what I'm saying? Like that's even crazy to even think about the concept. You know what I mean? Like, and people don't have this as a normal retrospective thinking. You're too busy engulfed by the endorphins that are having you chase everything that's dead. We see it like that. Like it shouldn't be like, yo, I gotta go get this. Nah, you will be supplied with what you need. And if you come out of that energy, then they gonna need more people to chase it. So that means they gotta come back to you and say, all right, I'll give it to you now because I see you ain't gonna just go get it. Keep in mind, you need it more than anything. So everybody like, yo, I gotta go do this. No, you don't. You gotta stop. Let a bunch of y'all stop at one time. Watch everybody change their mind because ain't nothing gonna be moving. They need something to be moving. Things start getting spoiled. Tumbleweeds start rolling. Off your stillness is your power. Let everybody be still at one time and watch what happens. In sections. Let everybody be still at one time and watch what happens. Even one person can be still in a room of turmoil and you will watch things calm down from that, just that one person being still, because being still is the ultimate strength. So, what is the conversation about? What are we talking about if these things are not latent to the systematic way of handling things? So, why we don't practice these things? Why we don't practice stillness, togetherness, being? Why is it not? Because it's not conducive for you being a part of this system. I need to have you in a mentality that keeps you confused. So when you go to make decisions, the decision you made is stupid. So then you got to learn from that. You got to say it was a mistake. Mistake. What's mistake? When you stake something, what happens? You stab it, right? You stake it. Stake it in the ground. So if you mistake it, that's something from an old time when they made a mistake and they called it that as a term. We even use that to justify our F-ups. This is what I be meaning. You don't even go deep enough to know why you say what you say. So just because we say we good. When you gonna start taking back power, literally, from the finite aspect. The finite aspect. Not the self-serving aspect, because it don't mean nothing. You dig me? Don't mean nothing. Everything everybody fighting for don't mean nothing. It doesn't mean anything. It's all self-serving. Like one person gonna change it all. I better hope you breathing after everything is over. But we already know how these process goes. Conveyor belt, in and out, in and out, in and out. It's conveyor belt. So it's imperative we start changing from the inside out. Have to. There's no other way to do it. There's no other way to do it. And you have to start by doing what you are connected to correct in a way you've never done. In a way you've never done it. All praise due to the Most High. Dig me? Telling you, man, this is what the world is about. It's inverted. It's inverted. It's inverted. You already know the vibes, man. This Naga right here. I'm about to get up out of here. Up out of here, out of here, out of here. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate everybody who came through. Like, comment, subscribe, share. You know what I'm saying? Stay tuned. I will be back at y'all tomorrow at some time, hopefully, with the with the underground music blog. We got new music coming in, new advertisements. You already know the vibes, man. Stay tuned. You already know the vibes. I said it like 3 times. It's like it's a chip. It's broken in there. It's like you already know the vibes. You already know the vibes. You already know the vibes.
Montana soil. Shout out to Todd, straight off that Montana soil. You already know the vibes. All information down in the description. Get with it or get left.
Yo, we right
Let's
here.
go.
Looking right, coming right at us. Right over
Feeling
here.
it, second time sensing it. Sit with it, more elements spin with it.
Stay focused.